What's up, everybody? It's Leanna Bringht, aka Yanna Beigh, creator, writer, producer, and director of Around This Joint Entertainment. I also narrate, sometimes. All right, every great endeavor has a backstory. This is mine. In the fall of 2019, I received what appeared to me as the offer of a lifetime. The opportunity to produce commercials for television and social media and to relocate from my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, to beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. So, this little black girl who grew up in the West 25th Projects, a single mom who'd work her way off of Section 8, welfare, food stamps, WIC, Medicaid, elevating her career through some of the city's top hospitals and major corporations with nothing but a high school diploma, the heart of a hustler, a gifted mind, and God's unmerited favor. I decided to step out on faith. I packed up everything I owned, uprooted my teenage son, and moved 700 miles away from everything we'd ever known and loved to pursue my dream and passion of producing content and just making great things that the world could enjoy experiencing. Then 2020 and COVID-19 hit, and in April of this year, my dream role was eliminated. In the blink of an eye, I went from one of the small number of people in my family to ever reach a six-figure salary to once again having to apply for unemployment, food stamps, and other government assistance. I'm stuck in a strange land with a high cost of living that I haven't even had an opportunity to become accustomed to yet. Regardless of the reason or what's ever going on in the country, I felt like a failure. There's been days that I've questioned if I made the right decision to move, days where I looked at God and questioned why He had me here, if He knew all of this was going to happen. Yet, in the midst of everything going on, three things have always remained constant. One, my faith and belief that God loves me, that He has a plan for my life, and that He's promised to never leave me nor forsake me. Two, my faith and belief in myself and the gifts and talents that I've been blessed with. And three, the faith, support, and encouragement of my family, friends, and church, telling me to never give up hope and keep striving forward. You know, it's funny how even when things seem like the bottom is falling out, God has a way of reminding us that it's not about what we see or what we feel, but rather what we know to be true in our hearts and in our gut. And one thing that I've always known to be true is that I was born to write. So in the midst of my sadness, my semi-frustration, my confusion, my newly found free time, I began writing more than ever before. Those who know me best will tell you that reading and writing, it consumed me as a young girl. But you know, sometimes we get too busy, we get distracted, or we even get too focused on things in life, and we start looking at what we can do instead of the things that we're purposed to do. And what we're purposed to do ends up taking a back seat. So the more I wrote, the more I began to feel myself come alive like I hadn't felt in ages. The characters and the backstories, the plots and the dialogues, they began to creep out of their dusty tombs and stretch out into the sunlight of my imagination. They were so happy to be free and excited to meet the world. Now, because I'm one of them people, I'm always in a constant state of survival. I'm always strategic thinking, critical thinking, planning, trying to have foresight. Every page I wrote left me with the same question. How, Lord? How will I get my voice and my stories out there? It's no secret that the film and media industry is a tough nut to crack. Then layer on top of that being a black woman from the inner city with no formal education. Then on top of that, it's a worldwide pandemic, and it has productions across all platforms on pause. And they've been on pause for most of this year. So I just kept asking God and asking myself, but how? How am I going to do this? Then the light bulb went off. See, what my life and my upbringing didn't provide for me in the form of a college degree or an extensive network, it did, however, equip me with some tools that can't be bought, like grit and moxie, hustle, grind, and ingenuity. And my faith taught me that there's really nothing new under the sun. And that's where Around This Joint Entertainment radio theater podcast was born. So over the past few months, God has allowed me to pull together family, friends, and even people I've never even met in real life. Voice actors, songwriters, sound engineers, music producers, graphic designers, startup investors from all over the country. And together, we've collaborated to bring some of the stories and the characters that have danced their little way out of my mind and my heart. We've brought them to life in a fun and entertaining way. So our first episode of our first show, it's going to be available on Thursday, September the 10th, 2020. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any major podcasting platform. See, we decided not to wait on anyone to give us a seat at their table, but to build our own table and to sit back and watch God do the rest. 2020 has indeed been a trying year for us all, but it ain't over yet, y'all. So I just wanted to take a few minutes and remind everybody that we still have time to dust ourselves off, pursue our passions, and redeem each and every day. So with that, I invite you to get excited, dig in, tap in, and enjoy what we've been cooking up. It's showtime around this joint.